Say hello to the one and only Drew Torres, a Bronx born and raised musician, the guitarist and singer of the Drew Torres Trio, and a local legend within the Bronx's local music scene. Today we're taking him across the Bronx to visit cultural hotspots and eateries, to enjoy food, try some craft beer, and talk everything music. This is the Bronx, this is B-Sides.
Inside Drew's home, we found a quaint space of time and character, where music, gaming, and pop culture seem to magically blend together. From its vintage vinyls, to its keyboards and amps, and that toasty little fireplace that just tucks you in the lazy boy. Drew's pad was ripe for the performance of his new song, New Year, New Me.
Sex life has been dead, I gotta recharge the battery, you see I'm not a bad fool, man, so tell me what the why these girls always gotta expect so much, and why she got a selfie with each makeup brush, see this is why I got these issues on trust, so the hell with all that new year, new me, that and bougie attitude, I just wanna see the real you, said I just wanna see the real you, so the hell with all that new year, new me, bad and bougie attitude, I just wanna see the real you. Said I just wanna see the real you. Not trying to play the stereo. This is the scenario, the future's untold, but also be prepared for what it holds, cause when it unfolds, there will still be creases, all sides and amps like the beast beneath us. I know somewhere inside you like a beautiful creature, but the way you're acting is just similar to double features, cause 1 minute you chuckle, next minute you hide, 1 minute you're happy, then the feelings nullify. Sometimes I gotta smile and kinda pull you to the side, cause you don't see that actions have reactions all the time. Some days I say you learn it and some days I say you're blind, but a pretty effing show we share the same mind. So the hell with all that new year, new me, bad and bougie attitude. Just wanna see the real you. I said I just wanna see the real you. So the hell with all that new year, new me, bad and bougie attitude. I just wanna see the real you. Said I just wanna see the real you. Stopping better from the paper cuts. Trying to use the pen and try to make a buck. Some of these girls be looking for that gold dust. I be like, hold up, cause when you're 15 minutes of payment done enough, they're gonna act like they don't even know you. So if you hadn't just been riding and sliding through that entourage, but no.
I've been playing guitar since I was about 9 years old, and I've actually been playing shows since I was, I think I played my first show when I was 15. So, 15 years old, bro. Man. Well, there was always a variety of music getting played in my house, like just throughout my entire life. My father is actually a conga player, so there was always a lot of Latin music in the house. But he also had a very eclectic taste, and he had a lot of vinyls and cassettes and things like that. So my mom was into a lot of R&B and soul, you know, a lot of like Regina Belle and things like that. My brother was into like modern hip hop, dance hall, reggae, which was big at the time, you know, in the 90s, and as well as like techno. So that just such a huge range of things. And actually, I got into punk at a very early age, like punk and dance hall reggae at the same time, which is it's crazy now to look at it on a political spectrum, like now these days, because you know what I mean? Because like reggae artists, they don't, you know, they're like about their, you know, their world and their independence, and punks are about, you know, their independence and their like, you know what I mean? So it's crazy. I guess that's just where I'm so like deeply rooted. I actually just got with the trio, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So yeah, we're fairly new for a band, and I had been playing with my bassist for a long time, so I guess I was a bit of a duo. We were a duo, I guess. There's a lot of shows and a lot of YouTube footage of like me and him playing. But once we threw my drummer Danny Castro into the mix, who was actually in episode 1, he really solidified as the trio. So it was great.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So talk about more about you released a new album.
Yes.
In August, I believe.
It was actually March. Yeah.
And it's full of a lot of sort of songs that you've previously recorded. which is pretty awesome.
Mhm,
Like, and
mhm.
kind of find it together. Tell us like what are some of your favorite songs on the album? Like what did you get out of the album?
I love, my favorite song on the album is actually Mi Vida, La Novela, which we actually have a music video for. It's just such a bop, man. It's like such a sublime-y kind of vibe, and it's got like that, it's, I don't know, it's like walking music. You just want to, you just want to like bop to it. So yeah, it was the whole experience of recording the album over the last 5 years was pretty extensive. It was a lot of work. We put a lot of love into it. We recorded it ourselves, basically, in my bassist's house. Yeah, and there was a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of just like, do this over. But you know what? We did it until we were like, it's there. Yeah. And we put the love into it. And we of course had David Andronico do all the mixing, and shout out to him. He was phenomenal. And
Tell me about the music video. Like
the music video was
mass.
The music video was good.
A lot of masks, a lot of beer. I like that.
Yes, a lot of masks and a lot of beer, because it's like, it's basically like the theme, I guess, was I was being hidden away, or like when people come and look for me, I'm not there. Like that's kind of like the thing. But the whole song in itself lyrically is about people coming into my life and just turning it upside down and just wrecking things for me, So there's a reason why I'm avoiding throughout the whole entire video. So, you know what I mean? So, because the music is what's important. So therefore, in the end, when, she finally reveals herself, it's like, oh man, she found me. But at least the song is done. At least the music is done. I got my words in. So
Hearing your acoustic tracks, your performance, it really put a thought into my mind. Me growing up, in the Bronx, Puerto Rican, really interested in the alternative rock grunge lifestyle. I really want to know what it was like for you growing up. I know you had your dreads, you had your cap, you had your whole look, you had your whole aesthetic. How did the people around you feel about that? Like, what did your parents think?
I never cared.
They never cared.
Honestly, I never cared. Honestly, the people around me were into something different always. They were into the mainstream. They were into, what they were into. They were into the hip hop and everything. I grew up on 187 in Katona. And
good place to grow up.
Yeah.
Good music.
Is that sarcasm?
No, but the counterculture. Yes, I was there.
I grew up around. I grew up in a rough area, and I just never followed the herd. I was always just my own person, and if there's any advice that I can give to anyone out there, it's just follow your heart. Just do what you want to do, because that's what I've done, and that's what I've been doing my whole life. Like, I make the music that I make because I want to be different, but I'm not like striving to be different. Like, I'm not like, out there like outlandishly, like, what I mean?
Organic,
Because
when people are like,
man.
you can tell when a person is trying too hard, and they're just like, oh, I'm just trying to be just like, but it's like, I want to make stuff that people like, but at the same time, I want it to be something that they've never really heard before, so I just want to be original. And I know that when you're original, you can guarantee that you're going to be copied. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but I'd rather be that prototype first.
There's so many places that the Bronx can call a home for local music, but few have the vibes and view of the Ice House Cafe in Throgs Neck. Some of you may remember Acoustic Nights Under the Stars with local production company Sounds and Sirens, their toasty appetizers and cold brews. But we want to see how Drew viewed the scene here himself. Let's take a look.
This place more special than probably all the backyard places you performed at?
Well, the staff here was amazing. They always treated me with like respect and just beautiful. They were always fun, and it was like they had a great time here too, you know, with the shows and everything like that. It didn't feel like they were working, you know, they felt like they were like a part of it. So yeah, everything was beautiful here, and we really enjoyed our time here and stuff like that. And even during the pandemic, when things were kind of just starting, they still had a few shows here, and I still got a couple in. This is definitely my favorite spot though here in Bronx. So as far as like the food here is amazing.
Yeah.
So I love eating here. I love just being here. Curbs on the half shell. I'm a big seafood guy.
What artists or production companies you used to work with to do your shows here?
I was working with my boy DJ Mike.
Mike, yeah. Shout out
And,
DJ Mike.
Yeah, DJ Mike. He was running the shows here. Artists. Let me see. Brian Keith played here. He's a local dude. Let me see, who else? We had Bronx played here. Those guys.
Bronx is another great artist.
Yeah, they're a good Bronx local band as well. There's a lot of people here, bro. Another astronaut, Blackfort played here. It's a nice little. We had a nice little shindig over here, man. You know.
Have you performed? So what places have you found?
Oh, I actually, you know, it's funny. I actually love the Bronx Beer Hall as well, which is like right in the middle of like Arthur Avenue. But you go in, and there's all these like little shops inside the whole like area. There's the beer, the little cheese, and the little Italian sausage and all that stuff like in the back area. There's like, yeah, dude, there's even like you can roll your own cigars in there. Like there's just like little things that you would just like never guess, right? Cigars and charcuterie, as they call it.
It's like
you know what I'm saying?
Chelsea Market.
Basically, yeah.
It's a great spot.
Absolutely, bro. So like little things like that. Let me see, what else? Well, Scott Place, man. Scott Place?
Scott Place too.
Scott Place was a cool little thing, man. I think they turned it into like an ice cream shop or something now. But
You know, it's been so many things since unfortunately they shut down.
Yeah.
That right now it's there. The building's there.
Yep.
You know, but the memories remain.
Absolutely.
It's such an impactful place for us. You know, that's where Tupac started. And Drew was actually one of our first headliners.
Yes, sir.
Started out in 2012.
Scott's played
Yeah.
at 2012. That was great. That was before my time with Tupac.
That was
Before.
Yeah.
But I would have been there.
You would.
But I think just seeing those old videos though, that was something that I love, seeing those old performances.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
gravitated me to Tupac, just watching Drew, because I remember I saw you first play at Arlene's Grocery.
Oh, yes.
In the year-end summer show.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, I
dude.
saw your summer on that one.
Crazy.
That's where we first
That's
met.
where you first
Yeah.
met. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
So,
interesting,
like,
huh?
It's crazy all these years now to see just everything progressing, everything growing.
Well, everything comes full circle, man. Always. It's beautiful, man.
One of my favorite stories that I love telling. Before I ever knew Drew, I contacted him like, listen, I'd love you to headline for a TVAC show. And it was a simple, yeah, man, that sounds cool. I started doing cartwheels, I did flips, I was running all around my dorm room at the time.
I got Drew.
It was a start of a relationship. You're a beer man.
I am. I love craft beers. I love all beers. Just give me a beer. I don't care.
I think we could do that.
I'll say.
Give me a damn beer!
The best beer that I've ever had is free beer.
Free beer. It don't exist. We wish it existed. But it
No, I know, right? Every beer comes with a price.
But have you been to Bronx Brewery though?
Not in a while. Not in a very long time, actually. But I'm excited
Well,
for.
it's Saturday.
Okay.
There's going to be a tailgating there later.
Okay.
You want to check it out?
If you
Let's
want
go.
football and
Let's
beer,
do it.
What better?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right.
Cool.
Sounds good.
What was your first show in the Bronx?
My first show in the Bronx was probably at Waterbury's, that little corner spot right there.
From Bruckner. I remember that shit.
Yes, that little corner spot. I was in a band called Just a Feeling, and we did play there.
We played with you guys.
We actually cut an album. It's my first album that I ever cut when I was 16 years old.
That was in the 90s.
That was definitely
crazy,
in the 90s.
Man. That's crazy.
So, I was 16 years old when I cut my first album. And,
How did that make you feel?
I mean, I felt great. I mean, we had problems with the guy that produced the whole thing, and he basically just like ran everything up the middle. And
I know that feeling.
His name was Casey, and I'll never forget. My parents fronted most of the money for that album.
You're so lucky. So
you
had to work doing whatever to fucking get money. That's
so we
awesome.
paid for that album, and we got it, and everything like that. And my boy Richard J. Parker, God rest his soul, he actually passed away recently. Richard Parker. He was a big part of
Queens.
Yeah. Richard Parker, man. He was
so sorry, man.
Definitely was a legend. I'm actually gonna get a tattoo for him soon, very soon. Yeah, he was a good dude. Not only that, he actually followed my solo career as I started branching out, and he started booking me for shows, and I got to play some shows in Queens, booked under him, and he was a good dude.
When did you first meet him?
Really good dude. I met him. I met him when I was 15. When we started, when we got together as Just a Feeling, as a band and everything like that, he was totally dude, I'm behind you guys. He would come to all the shows. We used to play at Red Zone in Queens.
Red Zone was a big thing in the fucking turn of the
play
century,
at Red
man.
Zone, and he was just dude, you guys are great. I'll back your band, and he did 1,000 run of our CDs, and
why play in Queens? Was it at that time because the Bronx is limited in terms of venues? And
actually, my drummer lived in Sunnyside, and he had a boiler room that we used to practice in. It was a very small space, so I used to have to wear earplugs all the time. It was the smallest little space. Every time you would hit a crash cymbal, it was oh my God. It was just crazy. But I had all my amps and everything like that set up over there, and we used to just practice there in this little confined space. And it's funny because he lived in a park. It was the house that was inside of an actual park.
That's wild.
A park open to the public and stuff.
Wow.
And his AIM name at the time actually was I Live in a Park 1.
Oh my God.
Reminiscing about the local scene and our community, we ventured out to Port Morris to enjoy some craft ales at Bronx Brewery and chowed down on some of Empanology's legendary empanadas and savory tacos. Revolving around the pillars of community, creativity, and inclusivity, the Bronx Brewery has become a staple of our borough, and its beers power our community's vibrant culture, music, and art.
First time I actually came here for Bronx Brewery, it was they were having some crazy party back here, and there were people performing on the stage over here, and I got invited. I think Brian Keith was here. Actually, it might have been his birthday. Brian Keith's birthday? Yeah, and he was here, and it was crazy. It's actually a really poppin' spot. I was wow, that place looks nice. I gotta hit that up. I actually ended up playing here inside, at the inside stage for a show that we were talking about earlier, actually.
You're not trying to be different. You're not trying to be, X, Y, and Z. You're staying true to yourself.
Yes.
You're being original.
Yes.
You're being authentic.
Yeah.
Have you ever come across people who kind of hated you for that? Who kind of talked down upon you for being who you were as a person and as a musician?
No, I haven't. Wow. It's weird.
You're a lovable guy.
It's weird because I thought that I would get some kind of but I've never.
a beautiful thing.
Honestly, my whole life and just everything that I've been doing, everyone in my circle is just, and even everyone like outside of my circle who doesn't even really know me, they just, I don't know. I always.
You have the support.
I just always get positivity. I don't really get much negativity. There was this one time when this drunk guy in Westchester was like, I particularly don't like your music, but my son would. And I was like, well, then buy a demo for your son. And he literally went in his wallet and he was like, here. He was like, okay, here.
I really respect you for that, man. As
Thank
a
you.
musician to a musician, it's really cool.
Thank you.
Just
Jax.
to hop on that, we had spoken recently, and I asked you, what were your two oldest songs that you ever been playing?
Yeah.
And you mentioned Price and Bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you started playing that in, let's say, 2000.
Those were the first like two songs that I wrote as like a solo artist. Like
That's amazing.
Yeah, I wrote those when I was like 18.
What blows me mind is that today in 2021, people still love to hear it.
I'm one of them.
People love to hear those tracks.
My
That's
wife
over,
is
like,
one of
20
them.
years.
I love to hear
You know?
that. Like
I want to
that's-
ask you,
I love the fact that like,
knowing that, like, I've known you for 20 years, like,
Yeah.
what influenced Bottle? Because my wife and I, that's on our, you don't have to answer that, but that's on our playlist constantly. My bass player, too, like,
I'd love to hear
true.
it. Yeah.
I really have a lot of respect for what you write, the way that you write, and the way that you compose. That particular song slays me.
you know, I wrote that song when I was 19 years old, actually, and I was very depressed. Like very.
I wouldn't deny it.
I was extremely depressed,
I'm
and
glad you got out of it.
Yeah. I mean, but I've been there and I've been out of it and I've been there again and I've come out of it time and time again. And, you know, songs have come out of it just,
It's a beautiful song.
but that's my therapy
Very
though.
relatable.
That's like what helped me get out. Honestly, Bottle,
I have to thank you for that.
well,
I have to thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. Thank you for thanking me for that. I mean,
We all thank you for that.
At that time, okay, I'll dive into it. I was 19. I was just fresh out of a very toxic relationship. I was contemplating suicide, and I was drinking a lot, and I was just not in a good place mentally, and when I wrote that song, and when I realized, wow, I have something here. Like this is something. It was therapeutic for me, and it in a way kind of healed me. And it was like the first big song that I really like put out there.
You've healed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
And I kind of was like, this is something. And it kind of like made me realize, okay, well, this might be my purpose in life here.
It was. It still is.
You know what I mean?
You helped me.
That song actually,
Thank you.
I wrote that with very selfish intentions. Afterwards, realizing that holy shit, this could be something that is,
And it
Could be
is.
much bigger than what it
yeah,
is.
and I realized it, and I was kind of like, wow, a lot of people really like this song. And I'm like, people are listening to this, and people are listening to my voice and what I'm saying, and it kind of made me want to just not stop doing that.
Absolutely.
So,
You've never written a bad
I've-
song.
No, I mean,
I listened to all of them.
This is the reason I'm still here, I guess. You know, like
you know, and that translates to so many of your listeners, to so many of your fans. You know, one song of yours that gets me by is "Passerby," and it really touches me.
Thank you.
Because I listen to it whenever I'm in my, you know, when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling depressed, when I'm in a rut, and I'm like, wow, you know, this is something that gets me up and out of it. Like, this guy relates to me.
I love that.
He understands what I'm feeling, and I'm not alone. You know what I mean?
That means so much to me, bro.
It's true. I mean, we could talk day and night about your influence, but at the end of the day, it's palpable. It's there. It's there.
That's what I want. That's what I always wanted. I just wanted to connect in an indirect way. Like, you know, I don't have to be there physically connecting to you, but you can hear me, you can feel me, you can, you know, sense the essence of what it is that I'm delivering musically, and can relate it to your own life. And
or
if,
introduce
you know,
it to new people.
yeah,
I do.
yeah. But that, above all, is the true meaning of being an artist.
Misbehave, spent enough time trying to dig my grave. Yeah, it wasn't on purpose, if it's all the same. Straight to maintain is keeping myself sane. So, to giving all the dirty looks. It's a person's cause I never get the kind of mistook for the weakness. Never the kind of repressed, the true class. Yeah, just like a 38 smack never ever seen. Like that could just possibly be the most passionate state of mind. On a steady incline, it's all in due time. Cause we live for experience, live for the knowledge and this truth of growing up. We live for tomorrow, every broken and hollow instance that follows and follows the next, as if it weren't enough on our chest to maintain every footstep. Cause it's after midnight, grab your aperitifs, everything's gonna be alright. I can feel a natural top flows of explosions of pheromones. Cause this money drop high, the last thought, believe it or not, we got so go ahead, lose control, let go of inhibitions, so you know. Cause it seems clearly we just wanna be free from responsibility for just one day. Breaking free from ball and chains, really things about that pain point, pleasure, this and that, or whatever's clever. So whether you're on top, very deep below, you can funk with the masters of audio. That's me, DT, haha. Live for experience, live for the knowledge and this truth of growing up. We live for tomorrow, every broken and hollow instance that follows and follows the next, as if it weren't enough on our chest to maintain every footstep. Spent enough time trying to dig my grave. Wasn't on purpose, and it's all the same. I'm straight to maintain, it's keeping myself sane. So I'm sick giving all the dirty looks to persons cause I never get the kindness to for the weakness. But I gotta repress the truth, rise to your chest like a 38 smack. It's live for experience, it's live for the knowledge and the truth that growing up. We live for tomorrow, every broken and hollow instance that follows and follows the next, as if it weren't enough on our chest to maintain every footstep.
Yeah.
You got the sauce.
Damn.
Sauce.